I'm talking to Soraya, who is one of my clients, and she just mentioned to me today that we've actually been training for almost a year, or around about a year. And looking back over the past year, Soraya is an athlete. She's been running, running is her thing. She ran the Manchester Marathon, and she's done many races throughout the year. And I always tell her to keep a training diary, because it's really interesting to see how you can change over a year and what you put your body through and all the ups and downs that happen during your training. So I wanted to ask Soraya a little bit about her year. So how's your year been for you, Soraya?
Training wise, it's been really good. I've had a roll of PBs this year, ranging from 5k to 10k to half marathon, 20 miles to marathon, and that's all happened in the last year.
And you haven't just started to take up running, have you? You've been running for quite a long time.
Yeah, I've been running for about 6-7 years.
And would you say you had a fairly decent level of fitness before that, or was running the thing that started you off?
No, I've had quite a good level of fitness for quite a few years. I did, starting from my early 20s, I did kickboxing for 6 to 7 years. Then I just did gym classes for a few years after that, and then went into running from there.
So what is it about running that you love so much?
For me, the best thing about running is when you can go out for a training run, it just completely clears my mind. Don't think about anything. And the best thing about running on the open road is that it just makes you feel really free.
So I always find that as well, really nice to just go outside and get fresh air, and also the happy hormones that you get when you exercise anyway in general. I always find you just get so much more when you're running, and it's nice to do something by yourself. So talking of being by yourself, obviously doing a marathon is quite a lonely journey. It takes you a long time, but you did your marathon quite quickly, didn't you? What was your time?
3 hours 30 and 6 seconds. I'm a bit gutted about the 6 seconds, I have to say. I really wanted to duck in under 3:30.
Well, I think 3:30 is pretty amazing. Most people will be admiring that as well. And that was the Manchester Marathon, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which was in April as well?
Yeah.
Same as London.
I think it was 2 weeks before London.
So that was your personal best?
Yes.
What did you get the previous marathon?
I've done 3 marathons in total. The marathon I did last year was my worst marathon, which I did in Blackpool. I injured myself a week before and probably stupidly decided to still run it on an injury. Wasn't my best race. The one before that I did Brighton. That was my first race, and I did really well on that one and realised how much I loved marathon running.
So looking back then over the various marathons that you've done, would you say you have to kind of do a few of them to realise the good points and the bad points that you can learn from your experiences and then come back better and stronger?
Me personally, I think with every single race that I run, even now, having run for 6 years, I learn something from every single race. I always come away having found something out about myself, or knowing that I need to tweak something in my training. So each one is always, even if it's a PB, I always gain something else from it.
That's very interesting. Are you writing these down though? You just have a good memory?
No, I've got a training log at home. I've got an A4 lever arch file with all my times in it and how I feel during my training. And
are you also logging your food, your nutrition?
No, I'm really bad with that.
So how would you find fueling your body for all of these races? Because you do put yourself through your paces, don't you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just trial and error. So I know what works for me for marathon training. I know, and I just stick to it. If it's not broken, don't fix it at the moment. Mm-hmm.
And what about your shorter runs? For example, a 10k or a 5k. Is there a particular way that you might eat leading up to those races?
No, I do the same as I would for a marathon, which is always 2 Weetabix.
Okay, so they really work then. They do fuel you with energy. What about after a race though? Is there a particular food that you like to have to refuel, get some glycogen back into your muscles to help with your recovery?
No, there isn't a particular thing that I favour. The main thing I do is I always try to have a protein shake afterwards. That's like the immediate thing that I do. And then after that, it's just whatever's available really.
So you are into taking supplements and things?
Yes.
Okay, and what about, so over the past few years that you've done all these marathons and the shorter runs, what's been the biggest thing that you've learned so far about your training?
Probably what I've learned in the last year, which is that strength training has probably been the key to my year of PBs, that it's not just about running all the miles, it's about putting in the weight training and strengthening your muscles so that you don't get injured.
And how have you been this year in terms of injuries?
Touch wood, I haven't really had any. I've got a few niggles that I'm managing myself, but that's about it.
Okay, and so your biggest achievement so far?
My Manchester Marathon.
Which was a 3 hours 30 and 6 seconds.
Yes.
And what are you hoping to get next, whether it be a marathon or a 10K? What's your next goal?
The Bristol half marathon in about 5 or 6 weeks' time, where I'm trying to run 1 hour 35.
And have you done Bristol before?
No.
Do you know if it's a flat road or hilly?
I've read that it's a flat race and it's got really good reviews and it's a PB potential course. So
what advice would you have for anybody out there who's listening who would like to get into running and they're not too sure? What would you say could be a first step?
Probably there's a lot of running clubs out there that do specialise in training for beginners, the Couch to 5K programmes. It's just all about taking baby steps, really.
That sounds good. So yeah, just so long as you get off the couch and you get out there, do a few steps, and then you do a few more and then more until you build it up to a run or a race.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. And is there a motto or saying that you live by that inspires you that you could share with people? Put you on the spot.
The only thing that probably goes through my head is when I'm dying in training is that if it doesn't kill me, it's only going to make me stronger.
That's a good one. And having known Soraya for a year now, she's very determined and headstrong, and she is very hard on herself. So that really does sum her up, that motto. So thank you very much, Soraya, for speaking to us today. And if anybody would like more information on running, please get in touch by tweeting us at HayesFM Official.